Welcome to Catholic Mom Mindset, a daily show where you learn to walk closely with the Holy Spirit so you can live the life God is calling you to. I'm your host, Sterling Jaquith. Let us begin. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about how no one puts food in your mouth. And I was thinking about this recently. I was actually thinking thoughts like, I wish I had more control in my life. How many of you have thought that before? And I've mentioned this before, that the heavenly kind of control is controlling how we show up, and the twisted form of control is trying to control everything around us. But I think as we try to control everything around us, and we totally can't, so that should become very obvious, we feel like failures. And then a lot of times we start to act like victims. Well, it's not my fault because thing around me that's happening. And I like the food thing just as an analogy for how we are in charge of so much more about ourselves than we choose to take advantage of. We have so much control over ourselves in a way that we do not express, right? And I just think food is such a great example of that, because literally no one puts food in your mouth. No one does it. You are 100% responsible for everything you eat and everything you drink. And for most of you, you would say, I don't love the way that I eat. And you would have a lot of reasons about that. And some of them might be even really good reasons. I'm not forcing you to change the way that you eat, but I want you to just step back a little bit and go, it is true though that no one makes me eat anything. Of my own free will, I went to the store and I bought the things and I ate them. And you don't have to change what you eat, but let's just see how silly that is when we really see that. How is that true about other areas of your life? No one makes you raise your voice. No one makes you shove everything in your closet until it spills out and drives you bananas. No one makes you add things in your cart in Amazon. I think so often we're living in a lot of pain and we're coping with that pain by doing a bunch of things, but then it's like we forgot that we did them. So I want you to be both gentle with yourself. Hey, I love you. Of course we did that. We were having a rough day. Not justifying. We don't want to say, oh, that's fine. I want you to be compassionate with yourself. Compassion looks like, yeah, I totally understand why someone in a lot of pain would eat 4 pieces of pizza. Totally get that. But now that we see it, is that the way that we want to live? How can we address the pain? How can we address what food is available to me? How can we address how I pray and think about myself before I take one bite of food? This is what radical responsibility looks like. And I just think the food thing is so obvious, but you could do that in a different part of your life. So one of the things that I'm working on right now is I met with an ADHD. She might even be like an actual therapist, but what she does is she helps people basically create systems or understand how they can set up their day to have less ADHD symptoms. And as she was asking me questions, she goes, do you have any sensory processing things? I said, no, I don't think so. But I think she could tell that I hesitated. And she said, well, what would you have if you did? And I said, well, I don't like massages and I don't like showers. And I said, but I'm a redhead and I have sensitive skin. And I said, I don't have anything like, oh, if my socks are too tight or if the fabric is weird, I freak out. And she laughed and she said, yeah, a lot of people think that's what sensory stuff is, but it's not. Oftentimes it's about pressure. And I'll probably do a whole nother episode on this later. But my point was, immediately I was like, oh, I did not know that that was potentially a thing. I am now willing to take radical responsibility to go learn about that, to see if I can improve that area of my life. Because I've always just told myself I'm not a touchy-feely person. I'm not very quick to like cuddle or give hugs. And maybe it's a sensory issue, which is, by the way, very common with ADHD. So it's not like out of left field that that would be true, but I didn't know. But now I can go learn about that. I can dig into that. I can work on that. I can take baby steps. I can do exercises if it turns out I have something there and need to work on that. So no one puts food in your mouth. No one makes you yell. No one makes you buy things on Amazon. How can you treat yourself with compassion and figure out what's going on? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could figure out what was going on so you could live with more peace? That's my question for you today. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Catholic Mom Mindset. To learn more about growing closer to the Holy Spirit, check out our free resources at madeforgreatness.co. Thank you so much for listening and have a blessed day.